The mud splashed across her face before anyone even noticed who she was, and when she wiped it away, the courtyard went dead silent. Because on her collar, gleaming under the afternoon sun, was the one insignia every soldier in that base feared. The silver star of a newly appointed admiral. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. It had been a sweltering day on the training field. The men were restless, their uniforms soaked with sweat, and tempers were short. A group of soldiers gathered by the motor shed, joking and tossing clumps of wet dirt like boys in a playground. That's when she walked in, clean uniform, sharp posture, a calmness that didn't belong in the chaos. No one knew her yet. Rumors whispered that a new commander was taking over the base, someone from high command who had served overseas, but nobody expected her to be. Her young, quiet, unassuming. Private Collins was the first to laugh. "Hey, new girl, you lost?" he called out, his voice echoing off the metal walls. She didn't answer, just gave a polite nod and kept walking, eyes forward, like she had a mission no one else could see. The others chuckled. Collins, proud of his own cruelty, scooped a handful of wet mud and hurled it across the yard. It struck her cheek, hard, splattered across her crisp white collar. For a moment, time froze. Even the wind seemed to stop. She didn't shout, didn't flinch. She simply took a slow breath, wiped the mud from her face, and looked up, her eyes calm, cold, and steady as iron. That's when the air changed. Soldiers turned their heads. Officers paused mid-conversation. A ripple of silence spread across the field like a wave. Then she spoke. "Private, what's your name?" Collins straightened, still smirking. "Collins, ma'am." "You should." But his words broke off as she stepped closer, pulling a small folded paper from her pocket. The wind caught its corner, revealing the signature at the bottom. Fleet Command, and above it her name. Admiral Lila Hayes. Collins' smirk vanished. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Admiral? She's the new Admiral?" Lila's voice remained soft but carried the weight of thunder. "I asked for discipline, not entertainment. I asked for respect, not ridicule. And yet, here we are." The soldiers looked down, shame creeping across their faces. Even the birds above seemed to hush, as if nature itself bowed to the silence that followed. But then, she did something no one expected. She didn't punish him. She didn't call the guards. Instead, she stepped aside, gesturing toward the muddy ground. "Pick it up," she said. Collins bent down, confused. "Ma'am, the mud," she clarified. "Pick it up. Feel it. That's the same earth soldiers have bled on. The same earth that holds the weight of those who never came back. You throw it. You disrespect them." The courtyard was utterly still. Even the most hardened sergeants felt their throats tighten. Collins stared at the mud in his palm, trembling slightly. "I didn't mean I know," she interrupted gently. "But meaning doesn't undo what's done. Only learning does." And with that, she turned and walked toward the headquarters, boots leaving small prints in the dirt. Soldiers stood straighter. Collins watched her go, his pride broken, but his respect reborn. Later that evening, when the flag was lowered, Collins stood by himself, cleaning the same training field he had mocked her in. When Admiral Hayes passed by, she gave a small nod, not of authority, but of acknowledgement. She knew the lesson had landed. Because leadership, she believed, wasn't about rank. It was about the strength to stay calm when others mock you, to lead with dignity when power tempts you, and to forgive when ego screams for revenge. And that day, every soldier on that base learned it the hard way. Because respect isn't demanded, it's earned, one act of grace at a time. And somewhere in that silent courtyard, the same mud that once humiliated her now carried the weight of her name. Admiral Lila Hayes, the leader who never needed to raise her voice to be heard. Before you go, tell me, what would you have done if you were in her place? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Only here, on Revealed Stories.